Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about Skamala versus Rump. Okay, so we're going to talk about their campaign strategies, what I think is working, what I think is not working, what I think would work better for them. So the first thing that I think we got to understand is that 60% of the country wants more of Biden-Harris. Okay, 60% of the country are like the insanity of the last 4 years, and they want more of it. Okay, the Democrat Party is a reflection of their base. Okay, so 60% of Americans are corrupt. 60% of Americans want to kill their children. Okay, so we just have to accept that. Okay, in fact, if it wasn't for the Electoral College, Democrats would have complete control of the country. So we have to understand that reality, which took me many years to like get into my head. It took me many years to come to that understanding of the problem isn't so much with the politicians. The problem is with the people that vote for the politicians, because the politicians are really catering to the people that they think will vote for them. Okay, so I don't even think it's a case of lying to them anymore, because a lot of times they're like, "Oh, the politicians lie." No, man. People can see through the lies. People vote for politicians because they like what they're doing. So in the case of Biden-Harris, 60% of the country wants more of that. Okay, so thank God for the Electoral College, which puts some control to the system. So what I want to talk about here is their election strategy, or the campaign strategy, because it seems like both sides are like playing heavily to their base. Okay. I guess like Rump is trying to get more of his base to vote for him, and Skamala is trying to get more of her base excited and to vote for her. Okay, so I think that is a strategy of diminishing returns. Okay, for either one of them. Okay, I think the more effective strategy would be for, let's say, Rump to target Kamala's base, right, and try to say that, hey, you guys, that thing that she says that she's been doing for you guys, she's not doing it so well. And likewise for Skamala to target Rump's base and say, hey, that thing that you guys think Rump is doing for you, he's not doing it all. That's not where he's at. So let me explain what I mean. So I got here some notes. So let's start on the issue of gun rights. Okay, you got Rump out there saying that he's going to protect the Second Amendment. And then you got Skamala out there, who was pro-gun control, but now she's giving out some mixed signals that she's also a gun owner. I'm hoping none of these trees fall on me. Okay, so we're very windy today. So a strategy for Skamala, right, would be to say, hey, Trump is not really a gun guy, which he's not. All of us in the gun community know that Trump is not a gun guy. He's a golfer, okay? He's not somebody that goes shooting every chance he gets. He's somebody that goes golfing every chance he gets. I mean, to me, a golf course is a waste of a perfectly good shooting range, okay? So it would make a lot of sense for Skamala to not her directly, but for her people to try and reach to the to the Trump base, right, and try to point out the fact that, hey, this is like the first president and so many presidents that has actually restricted your gun rights. Okay, now, and that would be absolutely true, right? No, absolutely true. But the counter for that, right, from our side is that, hey, while Trump is really not a gun guy, he did put the right people on the Supreme Court, and that in the long run is a lot more important. Okay. So that would be our counter. But the point I'm trying to make here is that it really doesn't. It's really not that effective for Skamala to go to her base and say, "Hey, I'm pro gun control," right? Because that's not going to do anything over there. But if she could, let's say, reach into the Rump base and try to convince more and more people that he's really not a gun rights guy, that would start splitting up his base. People would start losing interest. Okay, so that's something. So we're talking about strategy here. That's something that would work for Skamala. Now, on the issue of abortion, right? Next one on my list. You know, Skamala going to her base and saying, "Hey, I want to kill all the babies I possibly can," doesn't do anything to help her, okay? Because they're all already baby killers on that side. Now, I just want you guys to know where I'm coming from on this. I mean, yes, killing babies is murder, right? Abortions are murder, but at the same time, you know, I really don't have an interest in trying to save the children of Democrats, okay? So if Democrats want to go kill their kids, you know what? I got a baseball game tonight with my son. You know what? They can go kill their kids. I'm going to go take care of my son, okay? So that's where I stand on that, okay? Yes, it's murder. No, I don't care if Democrats are killing their kids. I don't care if they're 2 months old or if they're two month fetuses, 2 month born babies, 5 years old. Not my business, okay? I do not care. You know, I know it sounds a little bit crude, but I'm trying to exaggerate the point here that my sole interest is taking care of my kids, not taking care of the children of Democrats and trying to protect them, okay? So, Trump did something really effective, right? He said that he's not going to sign any anti-abortion legislation. He needs to keep hammering away with that, right? Now, yes, he might, some of the people in his base might lose some interest on that. It might turn them off, but that's probably doing a lot more damage to Kamala's base, right? Because at this point, that is like the main issue of the Democrat Party, that they're going to kill babies. They want to keep killing babies, as many babies as possible. That's their strongest issue. If Rump takes the position that he's not going to stop them, that he's not going to interfere with their baby killing, you know what? They have less of an incentive to get out there and vote for Skamala. Okay, so that is a very effective strategy for Rump. Okay, and in fact, like I think that a lot of the Democrats actually panicked when he said that, and the first thing they came and said, "Oh, he's just lying." Okay, he's that's not what he would really do. You know what? Out of everything I see from Rump, I'm almost 100% certain that the last thing Trump cares about is protecting the children of Democrats. Okay, I think that's the last thing he would lift a finger. I mean, it's just he's not a baby kisser. He does not care about that. Okay, so that's a very effective strategy, and it's specifically targeting the base of Skamala. Him saying that he's not going to vote, he's going to veto any anti-abortion legislation. That digs deep into Kamala's base. Okay. Next, let's get into justice reform, because now this is an area where Skamala has a really bad history as a prosecutor of keeping people in jail past the date that they were supposed to be in jail just for the free labor, or suppressing evidence that would exonerate innocent people. That's something that Rump needs to target hard, because that's digging deep into her base and getting them upset at her. Okay, so not that he may not be the right person to say that, but he needs to get his people targeting that crowd. Okay, on Trump for as far as Skamala trying to target Trump on this. I mean, she tried to say that he's a convicted felon. You know what? That's weak, man. Nobody cares that Trump is a convicted felon. At this point, everybody understands that the justice system is corrupt, and everybody understands that what they did to Trump, they can do to any one of us, and we don't have the legal resources to fight it the way he did. If anything, Trump has a real incentive for justice reform, because he's a victim of the justice system. So that's something that solidly favors Trump. Okay, but this is something that the Trump side needs to target the base of Skamala and keep digging in there and trying to show how she when she was a prosecutor, she abused her position and she kept innocent people in jail that should have been released. Okay, Ukraine, Israel, okay, these wars. Trump is pretty strong on this in the sense that he's taking the position that he is anti-war. Like, he wants peace and he really doesn't care, so much who wins or who loses, right? As long as he has peace, he's not committed to to anything other than that. Okay, so he's in a strong position, and that's on the Skamala side, particularly on the Israel side. Her base is very divided, right? Because part of her base is pro-Israel, part of her base is pro-Palestine. That's a knife that they need to dig in there, to stick in there and start turning. Okay, that has the potential to really split up her base and get them fighting each other. Okay, so that's a big area of weakness for Skamala. Okay, on taxes, both of them are saying that in fact, this is one of Skamala's big campaign ads, right? And as far as campaign ads, I've seen a lot more from Skamala versus Rump, and that has to do with the fact that the Democrats just have a lot more money. So the vast majority of ads that I have seen, either especially on television or on my phone or wherever, they're all there saying that Rump is trying to basically reduce taxes on the rich and tax the poor. Okay, that's what they're all saying. So this is an area where Skamala is definitely, she's definitely got that, sticking that knife in there and turning it, and that's an area that Trump needs to punch back at, because the tax cuts that he did, I mean, they benefited everybody up and down. Okay, so that's something that he needs to dig into. Inflation. Okay, now this is an area that Trump's been hammering Skamala pretty good. Okay, because now let's be honest here. Rump was part of the inflation problem. Okay, all that money he printed up during the pandemic hoax. Okay, that all added to the inflation. Okay, so he's also got some bad history there. But the Democrats, they came in after that, printed up a whole lot more money, caused a lot more inflation, and this is something that Rump's been hammering away at, and this is something that's very negatively affecting his base. Okay, so again, this is an area where he has the ability to split up his base, because part of his base is going to be like, yeah, print up more money and spread it around, right? And the other part of his base is, wait a second, this whole printing up money thing is, kind of expensive at the grocery store. So this is a good area for Trump. He's been hitting this hard. He needs to keep hitting it. Again, the strategy here is to target the base of the other side, okay? And to try to get them to split up and fight against themselves, and that's the winning strategy, okay? Migration, border, Trump's killing it, okay? Really hard for Skamala to defend herself there. She's flip-flopped on that position a couple of times. She really wants open borders because that's her, because she's a leftist. Now she's trying to be, well, maybe not so open borders, maybe a little bit of control. But that's like an open door for Rump to get in there and try to split up her base, because part of her base wants some border control, the other part of her base wants absolutely no border control. That's what you target. That's what he needs to target and get them fighting each other, so that they get so pissed at each other that they don't want to vote. Okay. And lastly, we're going to talk about energy. Again, this is an area that Rump needs to target, because part of Skamala's base, they're all like all green. Tax all the fossil fuels to get people to stop using it. But the other part of her base is like, hey, you know what? In the meantime, I'm paying for these higher gas prices. These electric vehicles that you guys are pushing, they don't work so well. They're expensive to fix. So that's an area that Rump can really target and get Skamala's base to fight itself. Okay, so that's the winning strategy here, right? It's not going to be won by Trump getting more Trump voters, because he's got them all. It's not going to be by Skamala getting more leftist nut jobs to vote for her. She's got them all, okay? The winning strategy here is to target the base of the other and to try and convince that base that, hey, you know what? Your boss really isn't doing such a good job. What they're saying that they're going to do, that's really not what they plan to do. That's not what they've done in the past. They're fooling you, okay? So that is the winning strategy here. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Drop some comments below. Let me know what you guys think, and hope this wind stops, because it is freaking windy and it is cold today. and drop some comments. I'll talk to you all soon. And listen, don't believe the polls, okay? Part of the strategy of the Democrats is to say that the Democrats are losing, they're behind, okay? And as soon as that information started coming out, Obama popped up out of nowhere and she's like, "Hey, you guys are losing. You better get out there and vote." So one of the things that the Democrats do very well is that when they're losing in the polls, they use that to try and motivate people to get out and vote even harder, okay, or vote multiple times, okay. One of the things that I've seen over the years is that Democrats are really good at panicking, okay, but when they panic, what they do is, it's not like they go home and like don't vote. When they panic, they vote harder. They vote more times. Okay, so that's something that the Democrat Party is trying to harness. On the other side, what happens with the conservatives, the Republicans, with them, they tend to get overconfident. Okay, and when they get overconfident, they get lazy. They don't go out and vote. Okay, so the Democrats are much better at turning their weakness, which is panicking and uncertainty and lack of self-confidence and the depression problems and all that, because half of Democrats are on the depression medication. That's part of the reason why they're anti-gun rights, right? Because they're afraid they're going to shoot themselves. Because Democrats half of them on anti-depression medication. At least half I've talked to. So Democrats, they're really good at turning that around and channeling that weakness into get the vote out, okay? Republicans, on the other hand, or conservatives, when they're winning, that's when they drop the ball. They get overconfident, they get lazy, they don't turn out the numbers, and they lose, okay? And we need to vote enough so that we can overcome the cheating of Democrats, okay? So anyway, I'll talk to you all soon. Drop some comments.